Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey, episode 95 at the home studio with Chris. How the heck are you, Chris?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Welcome back to the
We're
home
back
studio.
in the
It's
home
been a while.
studio. Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
And we're still 8 feet apart.
Well, yeah.
Because we extra
an
social
eight
distance.
8 foot table. But there's a even bigger gap between us. An empty
But there's
gap.
some wine in between us.
There is.
Holy heck.
Somebody's missing, though.
Who?
Wait a minute. I don't have any fucking wine.
Well, that's a personal problem there because I see a carafe of wine right in front of me.
Jesus Christ.
Technically a decanter.
It is a decanter.
2013 Adelaida.
Woohoo!
Petite Syrah.
Doesn't suck.
Paso Robles.
Nope.
Sitting right here. That's our second bottle tonight.
That's right. Hitting
After
it hard.
a 2012 Ancestor from Halter Ranch,
That was super good.
where they filmed movies and shit. So, no, that Halter Ranch was a great cab.
Yes, it was. I'm
yeah,
going to step away from the mic so I can refill my glass.
Okay. Well, great. Thanks for tuning in to this podcast here. It's one-sided once again. Just like I go wheeling by myself, I'm drinking by myself again.
Lorenzo, rein him in.
You know, Lorenzo's not here. He gone. So, episode 95. Man, this is crazy. We're 5 away from the 100th episode. We've discussed our 100th episode, some ideas. We got some great ideas,
Right.
but I mean, this is insane that 95 times we have sat down to talk into a microphone.
Well, is that insane, or is it the fact that people have listened to us?
Well,
95
that's
times?
really insane too. So appreciate each and every one of you listening to this podcast 95 episodes later. And maybe you just started listening and you're trying to catch up and you're only about 4 or 5 episodes in on the latest episodes, and that's fine.
It's binge-worthy.
Don't listen to the earlier episodes. They suck. You know, we're moving forward now. We got to move forward. We got to look forward. So
We did do a little snippet of an early episode just to kind of, and it was like, it was almost painful.
funny. No, it's good. It's progress. Because if it sounded better than we sound now, then we were going backwards, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
You know?
a year and a half and a couple $1,000s later,
Here we are.
we sound like professionals.
So, we sat down tonight and we had a game plan of what we were going to do, and of course, game plans always get changed. And that's right. You got to adapt and overcome. Obstacles. Wrenches are going to get thrown at you. Parts are going to break. Stuff's going to happen.
It's quoted by the great in dodgeball.
Houdini.
You can dodge wrenches. You can dodge balls.
A ball. Yeah, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Exactly. So, we said, hey, let's call up Kevin Jones and get an update from him.
Ultra4Jones.
Yeah, Ultra4Jones. Let's get an update so we call him up and say, hey, we just need a quick 20, 30-minute update.
Yeah, that went out the window pretty quick.
We're like old friends, and we just started chatting, and I think we got an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, 1 million minutes.
1.4 gigawatts worth of editing there. I don't know. It was good. We just rolled into his where we left off in the interview with him and Robert in the camper. Yeah, at KOH, and it's great. I love the story. I love his passion. And he finished well, and it's pretty interesting to hear how he got from point A to point B,
and the adversity to get to those.
Yeah. So we're just going to turn this into a whole nother episode because we don't want to create like a 4-hour episode here.
No.
And this is too good to edit out. So, and our fans like Kevin better than us.
Well, sure.
We know that.
And,
he's a race car driver. Everybody loves a race car driver.
Yeah.
Not the podcast host. We're just there. We're just part of it. We get it. We know our place in the food chain.
We're here to enable the story to be told.
That's right. That's right. We're enablers. We give till it hurts, right?
It was like we're drug dealers. Yeah.
Well, that too.
First shot, first hit's free.
There you go. So with that, I think we should just roll into the interview, and there's some good stories here. Some good stuff that came out tonight. So,
yep. All right. Well, let's roll it.
Okay.
Boom.
All right, Chris. Guess who we have on the phone? First time caller, long time listener.
Ditto.
Kevin Jones, Ultra4Jones, are you there?
I'm here. How are you guys doing?
Holy smokes, this is working. Hey, Chris, bought this highfalutin board, and we're able to pipe in cell phone calls. So you are our first cell phone caller on this new board. How's that feel?
That feels pretty good. Not gonna lie.
So welcome.
I feel like I already won.
You are winning.
Well, winning.
Hashtag winning.
Hashtag winning.
So
Hashtag race prep.
So we wanted to circle back with our Ultra 4 drivers here that we have been interviewing in the past, and you're obviously one of our premier drivers early on in the podcast. So we hit you up at KOH, and we were wrapping in your trailer. Was it right after qualifying? We got caught up with you. So that was a bonus episode that we released, Chris.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And then so we kind of want to pick up where we left off there and see how the rest of your KOH experience went, which we all know went well at the end of the day. But let's fill in the details in between, the deets, as the cool kids say, in between. So take us through after the qualifying there, because you qualified 29th?
Yeah, 29th in class.
That's awesome.
That gave us a 38th starting position. So we had 9 4,500 cars somewhere in the lineup in front of us.
Wow. Nice. So you were towards the front of that whole ordeal.
Now looking forward, last year, the 2020, you did not qualify, correct?
Nope.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so
did not pay to get a starting position.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because that's an extra $250, right?
It's another
$250,000.
Woo, man.
That's Kevin Jones money there.
KJ money, man. Woo.
So no, but $250, but it's a big deal because it definitely puts you a leg up per se of the field of getting ahead of dust, congestion, a bunch of bullshit because there's so many different vehicles. I mean, that's like the busiest day at KOH is EMC, right?
There were UTVs might have more entries, but
okay.
There were 134 starting vehicles on EMC day.
Wow.
So it's definitely a lot.
Yeah.
I need to look back and see what the growth pattern of that is. I mean, because looking back when the first year I went to KOH, I think it was 2016 or 17, there definitely weren't 134 cars in the lineup.
No, definitely not.
So, okay. So you qualified and you kind of got that. Well, not kind of. You did get the monkey off your back. I know that was weighing heavy on you the night before of qualifying when you had rolled. And then so now race day.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just kind of going through timeline in my head, and I came up with we still had another day of pre-running after qualifying day. So
that's true because that was Wednesday.
Yeah, so we qualified on Tuesday, and then we were still going to go pre-run Wednesday.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, so the goal was to get, we ended our day Monday trying to get up Jackhammer, and it was just trail plug with wreck wheelers, yeah. So our plan was to hit Jackhammer first thing Wednesday, but we missed it, that's another learning curve. I talk about all the things that, I want to do better next year.
Uh-huh.
One of my good friends that went there, George, he was making his coffee in the morning, and he watched the Lovell brothers drive by at 7:30.
Okay.
In the race rig, just rolling out of the chain link to go pre-run.
Sure.
On Wednesday morning.
On Wednesday morning.
Okay.
And here we were rubbing the sleep out of our eyes.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting going. And we didn't get in the car until probably 9. So George gave me a big lecture about I need if I want to do better, I got to do better everywhere.
You got to be up when the sun's up.
Yeah.
So be like a golf course guy. Be out there when the sun's rising.
Yeah, watch the sun rise on Jackhammer is what you need.
He said it right. He's like, I know this is your Disneyland. I know you want to come out here and have a good time, but he's like, if you truly want to be on the box, like you got to take this next level. So, I think next year, we're going to have to set alarm clocks and get up and get with it. But anyway, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, you learned a lot last year. The first year, was just like an eye-opening experience, and you did great. You finished. But, you learned a lot. And I mean, this year you were really tuned in from our perspective. We kept coming by your camp and it was, just go.
Right.
And focused on that. And that's awesome. But yeah, at what point, because this is a fun thing at the end of the day.
It should be.
You're not in this for the money, obviously, because it's not a financially.
Whoa, wait a minute. There's no money in this?
Nobody told you? Wait.
I had all my eggs in that basket.
Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
Okay, here we go. Let's do a little doodly reality check.
So his children aren't going to college, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Get the Kevin Jones college fund here. But anyways, no, but there is that balance, right? It's like, hey, I want to do well. You've got, and you mentioned this before in previous podcasts and stuff of you've got all these people that are volunteering their time, taking time out of their vacation and everything to spend the week to support you. So you don't want to let them down. So there's that's a big aspect of this whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
It started out as this fun deal. Let's go racing. And everybody's like, yeah, hell yeah. I'll help you. I'll be on the pit crew. I'll do this, that. But, it's like you have a heavy burden on your shoulders of, I can't let these guys down that have taken a week off of work and, we got to do well and, all that stuff. Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just, it's like you say, I got to find the balance, but I mean, I'm so competitive that
right.
I'm going to have to up my game. And it is, I think one of the things that I come back to is that George constantly reminds me, it's like, dude, you're brand new at this. You've raced 3 times.
Yeah.
He's like, just be a little bit more patient, like this stuff will cause I mean, you talk about like, I'm trying to compare myself to the Lovell brothers. They've been racing for how long?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to even make the comparison isn't fair to them.
No.
So I look up to the people that are doing this at the level that I want to do it at.
Right. So, and I guess that's, that just comes down to personal preference. It's like, where do you want this to be and how committed and there's the people out there partying at night and okay, we're hopping in a race car and going to go race and have a good time and whatever happens. But yeah, you're beyond that. Your whole program has stepped up big time this year from an outsider looking in, and it's been awesome to watch. And it's like, where's this thing going to go? Where are you going to, cap this thing out at? Is this going to become a full-time gig, or is this just, what's going on? So I mean, but it's cool. And you're, I got to say one more thing. You're working with older equipment, right? So you've got a chassis that's beat to shit that you've taken across the finish line twice at KOH. And that's right. That's not to blow wind up your skirt, but that's a huge accomplishment. So whatever you're doing, you're on the right track, I guess is where I'm going with this thing.
Needs more horsepower, more torques.
Yeah, more torques.
You can't handle the
torques. Jesus. Love that one. All right. So with all that said, we're on Wednesday.
Yeah. So we tried to get up Jackhammer. We missed it. There was a whole bunch of trail rigs in front of us.
Can you just tell them to get the hell out of the way?
Yeah.
No,
do you know who the hell I am?
Yeah, right. My big fear with that is always that I go in front of them and then I break and
taco something. Yeah.
Right.
Become a trail tampon.
Yeah. So we ended up coming off a Jackhammer. We just went back down, and I was like, okay, we got to get back on course quickly, like race mile after Jackhammer as possible.
Right.
And we tried getting up like the the exit of Sledge, that sand dune. We were trying to do all kinds of different things, and it wasn't working out. I was getting frustrated.
I heard you on the radio.
Yeah.
Because I was monitoring the situation because I was going to go out and meet up with you, and then I just kept hearing all these roadblocks, and I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like fun. And I had some issues going on in camp that I was dealing with, so I'm like, oh boy, this isn't too inviting right now.
Yeah, somebody had the opinion that, well, we could just go around the mountain and get on course. And I finally pulled over and looked at the map, and I was like, no, that's not anywhere near a race mile I want to get to.
Right.
So then we took off across the lake bed, and we were like, we're just going to go to Remote Pit 2. And I was crossing the lake bed, and I hit these 2-track, like, you know how the lake bed gets rutted on those main.
It's crazy.
I hit those ruts perpendicular.
Oh shit.
At speed, and I haven't taken a hit that hard in the car like the entire time I've owned it. I mean, we came off the ground, and it was so violent, and that just pushed my frustration to a whole new level. I was like, now I'm breaking the car. Yeah. And I'm not even on the race course, you know? So
right.
I felt like our day was falling apart before it even started.
Wow.
And then the car started to misfire. It was just running horribly, super intermittent.
What was going on?
Well, at the time, I'm just running through my head of like, it never died, but it sounded like at idle, it sounded like it had a lot bigger camshaft than it did.
Okay.
And then at RPM, it would occasionally run clean and then occasionally misfire real bad. And then if you jumped in the throttle, it would actually get better. So I was like, well, it's not fuel. Like, it was super mysterious.
Was that O2 sensor?
Yeah.
Bang that baby off.
Somebody might have stolen his catalytic converter.
Yeah, we didn't end up knowing it until the end of the day when we got back.
Okay.
But, we kicked up a rock in that little section of jackhammer that we ran, and it smashed the end of the oxygen sensor and just mashed all the wires together.
Isn't that crazy?
It caused the entire passenger side bank of cylinders to just run pig rich. So,
well, it's better than lean and blowing out some rings.
Yeah. So anyway, that was, and then the last thing that happened that day was the helmet pumper just quit working.
That's right.
So
had no fresh air.
I don't know how guys did that back in the day. I guess we're just softer generation now. But so I mean, Robert and I were arguing with each other all day about course location, and the helmet pumper dies and the car's running like dog shit. It did not feel like a good productive day. And that was our Wednesday.
What time did you call it on Wednesday? What time were you back at your camp pit?
Before dark.
So you were out there for a long time.
Oh yeah, we covered every race mile. We ended up getting on course. Oh gosh, I don't honestly remember where we jumped in, but we only missed trail wise. We only missed Jack. I think we didn't get to go over Fissure. I think that's what it was. Okay. So we missed Jack and Fissure, and then we jumped in right there. So we did Highway 20, 19, Devil's Slide, Sunbonnet, whatever, all those, and then ran across Emerson Lake Bed, and then came back around. So we got a lot of it, but it was just a frustrating day. Just not a great day in the car.
So that night, where was your head? You're like, okay, but did you guys find the problem with the O2 sensor at that point? Okay, so you had that out of your mind.
Yeah, my buddy George, he's so good. I pulled all the spark plugs.
George is like your sensei, man.
Right?
He is. He really is. I wish I could pay that guy.
Mr. Miyagi.
He's just known me so long.
Okay.
He really knows how I work, you know.
That's
maybe
cool.
Maybe more importantly, how I don't work.
Yeah, that's he knows. Yeah, that's good.
So I pulled all the spark plugs, and the driver's side was pretty white, and then the passenger side was just soot black.
Yeah.
And so he happened to, he's like, well, let's see what's up, you know, and he just, boom, he's like, right there, look at the oxygen sensor. And it was just barely smashed, but
wow,
it must have crushed all the wires.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you asked where my head was at that night. Mallory's in the trailer telling me you got to make a list of all your sponsors because you didn't have those on stage last year.
Oh shit, that's right.
And I literally told her, I was like, I don't think I'm going to need them. I was like,
wow. So you were thinking I'm not going to finish.
I just,
in time.
Every single time we'd gotten in the car since we got to the lake bed, we had a problem.
Wow.
I mean, from that steering, the minute we offloaded, to electrical issues with like fuel pump relays, to oxygen sensor stuff, to rolling and qualifying, to the helmet pumper. I mean, every single time we got in the car, there was an issue.
Yeah, but those are all those. I mean, they're all, as you know, relatively easy to fix, and you overcame like you always do.
I mean, the tenacity is always there, but I think the problem was I always look to build momentum. Like I always want to, improve upon. And I just felt like every day we were like one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. So
it's kind of
that was kind of hard, but
yeah, it's like sitting at the blackjack table in Tahoe, and you win a little, you lose, and then you win, you lose, and you're like, do I cut bait? Do I go? What's going on?
Cut bait. No, don't cut bait. Just keep going.
No, you got to keep your eye on the prize, and you did.
If you're racing, you're all in.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be.
So that's where my head was at. But Mallory's like, just write your sponsors down and stick it in your pocket. And I was like, all right.
Thank God for Mallory.
Absolutely.
And she honestly, I've done this before in motocross races. Like, I remember one time I was going to go up to the line, and she's like, go win or whatever. And I was like, I'm not really feeling it. And she got in my face and she went, I didn't come all the way out to this horrible S-hole of a desert to watch you not do the best you can do.
That's awesome.
She's like, get on that bike and go win that race, and I got the whole shot, and it's, sometimes you need to hear that.
You do. Absolutely. You need those cheerleaders in your life.
Hot damn.
Those cheerleaders, the wives, the podcast that supports you. It's all good.
Yeah. Everybody.
Hell yeah. Rock on.
So we got everything ready. That was what we knew we needed to do. We went over the car, we fueled it up. My fuel guy, Monty, got there. So we practiced actually fueling the car. We made him put everything on, and we kind of timed it and did a little practice.
So quick note there, because this year KOH required new procedures for fueling the car.
Yeah.
And that was like that's a big nut hurdle financially to outfit your fuel person.
Yeah, for sure. So the frustration was amongst the racers that they didn't drop the rule change until after most people had registered.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So you were already financially committed when you found out you might have to spend another $1,200 on fueling stuff.
Apron.
Now,
the
flip side of that is they're making it safer for all of us.
And it is good.
So there's no way to truly be mad at them for making racing safer. But what they changed this year, before your fuel guy could just, be in jeans and a t-shirt.
Sure. Yeah.
And so now they want
just roll him around.
The good old days of KOH.
Yeah, just roll him around. He'd be all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Stop, drop, and roll. You're a firefighter.
So this year they wanted full fire suit, leather boots, fire gloves, and then either a balaclava and fire goggles, or a balaclava and a racing helmet with the visor down.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the SFI approved silver apron.
The apron, the silver astronaut apron is freaking great.
Wow.
That was great. And nobody could be working on the car while they're fueling.
Correct.
So everybody had to step back, hands up.
Yep.
And that's a big thing too, because in the years past we were like wrenching on the car where people are fueling, and it's like nope, everybody's hands up, got to be away.
So this is being monitored in all pits, main pit, remote pit. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was being enforced this year, but it was monitored.
Yeah, I definitely, there's going to be a little bit of learning curve there for everybody, all the teams. But we took it serious, and we made it part of
as you should. And you're right. The premise of the thing is to make things safer, and all it takes is one freaking unfortunate incident, and you know more than anybody that fire is no bueno.
Yep.
So okay. Sorry, I had to add that in because I don't think a lot of our listeners, that was a new, like, big rule that I know all of the teams that we follow were like, okay, how do we get around everybody except for EVE because they didn't have to put fuel in the car.
just atoms.
They just need electrical gloves, and the what's that pole called that you pull somebody, the fiberglass pole, if you get electrocuted, you can pull somebody out without
I don't know.
Anyways,
electrons.
Yeah, so it's all 1.2 gigawatt stuff.
All ball bearings now.
But anyways, so that was a big nut, especially in the class that you're in, the the EMC class. That it's like, I mean, these are guys that are blue collar people working for a living that just want to go race, and that's a big nut to outfit your fuel guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I honestly got really lucky financially because all I had to buy was the apron. Because my pit crew had amongst them, because they used to race, that we had a fire suit and a helmet, stuff like that. So I just provided the apron, and they scrounged together the rest. So that was pretty nice.
Right on.
Okay.
So
so that was, we got all that stuff ready, packed up tools. Seth and my dad packed the chase truck for the last time, made an inventory. I went over to Rugged, and I found the value of a helmet pumper is equivalent to a certain amount of Cali Squeeze beer.
Right.
So I was able to make that transaction. That was helpful. And then
having fresh air in your car while you're racing through the desert is
pretty important. So that took us up to race morning, really.
Here we go. Race morning.
Friday morning, race day.
So you got to describe to our listeners, our fans here, fans of you, not really us, but fans of you, that, that race morning, the nerves, the whole thing of, this whole culmination of the year's events and hashtag KOH prep to this point. That's, you know what you got to do, you do it, but it's like, your mind's just going a million miles an hour and all those scenarios going through there. I got to imagine. I don't know. I haven't been in that driver's seat going to the start area and getting lined up, and,
There's something, I don't know. I always compare it to the motocross stuff, right? Because that's the closest.
That was your world.
That was my world.
Yeah.
There's something very comforting about the race car. Like, on the motorcycle, you're super exposed and you just really feel out there.
Okay.
But in the car, I feel like coddled, the thing just
ensconced.
It just envelops you, and you're so belted in, and I feel like super at peace in the car. Like,
okay. That's cool.
Yeah. I don't get all that worked up. I don't know. I don't know why.
Well, you're a trained professional, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should get worked up.
No.
You have your Walkman going with your race
Walkman. Walkman. What year are you in, Chris? It's like freaking 1990.
I'm in the 1980s, man. Got my Walkman with my race mix. Race mix. That's what you're talking about, right?
Jesus. See what I got to deal with, Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hashtag old man.
Hey, whatever.
So, it's got to be when you're sitting in that car then, and you're all good. But I know, and I've said this before on podcasts, it's one of my favorite moments of KOH is being able to walk down all the vendor rows and see the drivers, and they got the visors up and they're strapping in and getting fired up for this race. It's got to be cool sitting in the car, especially in the driver's seat, seeing all these fans walking by and giving you a thumbs up or whatever, and fist pumps and stuff like that. That's got to get you going too.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like you said, everybody's lining those little barricades. I get to see my girls jumping up and down, screaming. So that's pretty fun. And then there's even people that are like walking next to you with a GoPro, and you're like, I don't know who this person is. And then And then later you see some random Instagram clip or YouTube and you're like, oh, that's so-and-so.
Yeah, see? That was Jimmy from Snail Trail.
Right.
Yeah, he was doing it a little bit.
No, it's just
fun. You feel like a little mini celebrity.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
That's cool.
Well, part of the community.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That part's pretty fun.
And that's, like I said, that's the really cool aspect of Ultra 4 in general, is that it's super fan friendly, where you can get up close and personal with your favorite drivers and, maybe people you don't even know, and give them a little fist pump, a little thumbs up, and you get a smile back and a
right
thumbs
on.
up back. And that's pretty cool.
Hope it never goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you go through the arch and you're entering, you're lined up, and what is it, 30 seconds, every 30 seconds 2 cars are going off, and you're just inching up to that start line.
Go time.
Yeah, and we got our green and took off, and instantly got whoever was next to us, I don't even remember, just took off, and I was like, oh, all right.
Have fun.
Have a good day.
Luck, players.
Yeah.
It's all about preservation of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. We immediately, like I said, this was that first time starting up front, because in Ridgecrest we started in the back, and in KOH last year we started in the back. So
right.
all the excitement, enthusiasm, and all right, here we go. We're about to take off, and we're going to do good, and we're going to try and get a top 10 this year. Every single race mile from the starting line to Cougar Buttes, we were just getting smoked.
Really?
I mean, car after car just going
blazing past you.
Just blazing. All the killer cars that had bad qualifying runs are just now they're just set on kill, and they're working their way to the front. So it was a different feeling. It was honestly really dejecting, and instead of motivationally passing cars,
right,
instead, it's the complete opposite. I was just slowly losing interest. And every time a car goes by you, it makes a new dust cloud, and you back out of the throttle a little bit, and that was our the first 20 miles was that.
Were these a lot of rookies, or because it seems like you're an experienced guy that thinks things through, and you understand that it's a race, but it's a long race, and you need to take care of your equipment.
Not to make excuses, but a lot of it goes back to we're getting caught by cars that can handle better.
Sure.
I'm driving my car at what I consider a safe, efficient speed.
Right.
And other people have faster, safe, efficient speed, I guess. So they weren't, it wasn't like we were going backwards, but they had speed on us.
Yeah.
So we had these new trackers this year, and they actually had a display on them.
That was weird. Yeah, tell us about those.
So with all the previous tracking issues, they used a new company this year, and they installed them, that morning in the starting line. Mm-hmm. And the thing had 5 buttons on it, and one was we're broke down.
Mm-hmm.
SOS. One was we're broke down. One was we're just stopped for a minute, kind of caution triangle, and I don't remember what they all were, but anyway, the one was push to pass.
Yeah. So
if you push that button and you're within whatever they said, 600 feet of a car, it'll display on the car in front of you's tracker that they need to pull over to get past.
You got somebody on your tail.
So you're about to get nerfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we kept seeing pass on the display, and just trying to be a courteous racer, I'm well, if they caught us, then they're already ahead of us on time. So we'd kind of, get out of the way and let those people go about their day. And, like you say, they all didn't have better days than us by any means. In fact, I would say most of them didn't, but.
Well, the attrition rate's always a key factor.
Yeah. But, so we got to pit 1, and the plan was to not stop. And so we just rolled through pit 1 under the speed limit, and the guys just looked from a distance and said everything looked good.
Nothing hanging off the car.
We said it felt good, so we just kept going.
Okay.
And then we got into Cougar Buttes that we had pre-ran a bunch, and we loved our line. And it was funny because when we pre-ran and Robert and I were on foot, we got to this one notch, and I was like, this is the only place we don't have a secondary route. hope to God nobody's broken or rolled over in this line. And what happens?
There you go.
It was all wadded up.
Not somebody's broke down. 2 cars are broken down right there.
Yeah.
So we come over the rise, and I see Cade Rod's car right in front of us, broken. He's out of the car, and they're like pulling the transmission dipstick and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Not good.
And then Jacob Peak is in front of him, and they're holding fire extinguishers in their hands.
Oh, that's not good.
Like, well, that's not good.
That's not a good sign.
So Robert goes, well, what do you want to do? And I said, they're both on their wheels. They look like they're about to start winching. If they'll just winch forward 10 feet, I can go around them.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, cool. So he stayed in the car because it takes longer to get out of the car just to get back in the car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So not long after that, somebody comes around the passenger side of our car and just beats their fist on the hood and says, get the F out of your car.
What?
As another racer co-driver. And Robert looks at me and he's like, what's that all about?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, but I guess you should get out of the car. So he climbs out of the car, and no sooner does he get out than, of course, the 2 cars in front of us get winched out of the way.
Oh, fuck.
And I start to go. And immediately I'm like, oh, man, something's wrong with the car. Like it's like bound up, or like the transmission's slipping, or something's going on.
Oh.
I'm just leaning into the throttle, and the car's not right.
Okay.
Huh.
And then I just happened to look in the passenger mirror, and I realized we're dragging a car. The car behind us hooked their winch line to us.
What? Oh, shit. And they didn't even tell you?
They didn't even tell us.
Hello. Winching 101.
Common courtesy. Yeah. I mean, I dragged Jason one time, but.
Oh, really? Really? That one time you went 4-wheeling?
Wow.
Okay.
So
Really?
All right. So somebody hooked a winch line to your back that you didn't even know.
Didn't even know. And so I back up like a foot, and the guy reaches, in there and undoes it real quick, and I drop it and drive and take off. I drive like 100 feet just to get completely out of the way. Robert jumps back in, and we take off.
What a cluster.
And I forgot.
Were they driving a Prius? Because that sounds like something a Prius driver would do.
Right?
Well, the guy, later on, the guy, like, we got together on Instagram.
Oh, you did?
Like, hey, yeah. He's like, hey, by the way, that was me. He's like, I'm really sorry. And
sorry,
like,
not sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just like, I'm pretty sure you should probably like ask somebody if they want.
Yeah, if you're gonna
courtesy.
hook up with somebody, you need to ask first. That's just common courtesy.
Yeah.
It's like
So
a little lube, maybe a kiss, maybe a how do you do? I
A
don't
little
know.
courtesy reach around, something.
Yeah. They all thought I guess they thought I was stuck where I was stopped.
Oh,
But I
jeez.
was literally just like nosed into the back of Cade's car, and I was just waiting for him to leave. But
Oh my God,
it was really
that's
funny.
hilarious.
So while we were there waiting, which felt like forever, but I'm sure it was like 2 minutes tops, this other Legends car came in, and he starts to go like look for another line, and I look over and I'm like, I walked that. I'm telling Robert, I was like,
there's nowhere to go.
that. I'm like, there ain't no line over there. And sure enough, within like 10 seconds, he was upside down.
Yeah. Rolled
And I was
over.
like,
So
yeah.
I was watching the race from home on the live stream, and were the drones were zipping and zooming around all over Cougar Buttes. Did you see that? Were you like aware enough to see the drones kind of hovering next to your rig or anything?
Occasionally you'll catch them in different places, but honestly, like there's so many sensory overload things going on that it's if you even catch one, you just like, okay, whatever, and you just move on. But
well, I mean, while watching the race, I noticed, because I was also doing the tracker thing, and I said your vehicle hadn't moved for a while, so I figured you were kind of wadded up at Cougar Buttes. And there was some footage of your car, and then it was it was pretty cool. But like watching these drones were literally like flying right up to people, like co-dogs were out of their cars, and they were just like the drone right up to them, and like the co-dogs are like, what?
Yeah,
it's pretty good coverage.
Those drone pilots must have a lot of fun with that.
Oh gosh, yes. Well, we know Dusty Drone.
Well, for sure.
He kicked ass this year. Throw him a little shout out. Go follow him on Instagram, Dusty Drone.
Dusty Drone.
Yeah. Okay, so you get through Cougar Buttes unscathed, other than somebody hooked up to your ass and there.
I figured the best thing I could do with their. Oh, so as we drove away, I looked in my mirror again and I saw, they were giving us the one finger wave.
Oh nice. My God. Really?
It's pretty impressive how quickly people's emotions go through the roof when they're racing.
Show a little class, man.
Yeah.
Well, JT Taylor always tells the race director, he always says, like, I don't know what happens when you guys put your helmets on, but you all just go stupid.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and there's
kind of right.
There's a lot of, you worked all year for this point, and then somebody's like hooked to your back bumper or whatever.
Yeah. Cougar Buttes is really tough because it's still the start of the race.
Right.
You just blasted through the desert for 20 miles, and then now all of a sudden you come to like a screeching halt. But your heart rate hasn't come down.
No.
So everybody's fired up, and you see a lot of foolish things.
That's true.
Because,
that's true.
People are just fired up.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's all part of the deal.
Yeah.
Fun.
So Robert, he jumped in the car and we just took off. I was like, let's just get some distance, away from this place.
Yeah.
And then we lost a few more spots just out in that fast desert stuff. And then once we started you round a corner and work your way back towards remote pit 1 for the second time, we see this dude like standing on the embankment and he's holding up what I thought was a camera. And then right as we go by, I'm like, oh, that's not a camera. And that wasn't just some dude. That was Justin Hall. And he's holding up his belt tensioner.
Oh, shit.
Trying to show people that he needs an LS belt tensioner.
Hello, advertiser, billboard.
And I literally thought it was a dude just holding the camera.
Oh, God. That's too bad.
So I was like, oh, what a bummer, And sure enough, like 100 feet later, there was his car. But so we went by him, and I thought his day was done, but it was cool to see that he recovered from that later.
Yeah.
Was able to get it done.
Yeah, he ended up pretty good overall for that day, but unfortunately,
Yeah, he worked for it for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So then as we were coming back into remote pit 1, I asked Seth, I said, hey, do you have like a position update for us? And I could tell he didn't want to give it to me. But I was like, dude, I just need to know. Like, I need something, And he's like, you're 38th. And I was like, overall or in class? And he's like, in class.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay. I get it. I watched all those cars go past me.
Sure.
I know we're not, doing great at
right.
this point.
Right. But you're moving under your own power.
Moving, So it just keeps reinforcing to me, like, how much more speed I need in the desert.
Right. I mean, yeah, but you finished, and you finished well, so
you did.
Yeah, so the shirtless farmer there, your crew chief.
Mm-hmm.
Love that name.
Well, what are you, the wino?
Yeah, I was the wino.
Yeah.
It was great.
If Chris was there, he would have had a nickname.
Yeah, what would have Chris's nickname would have been? What would we have called him?
Drunken ass?
No, not drunken ass.
I don't know.
Maybe like, I don't know, like Web Wheeler or something.
Yeah, Web Wheeler or
Web Wheeler.
Barbie Jeep 1 or something. I don't know.
Barbie Jeep's good because the Barbie Jeep's going to be on trail a lot this year.
Oh, you heard it here, Kevin. You heard it here. It's been documented on the podcast several times this year.
I have to redeem myself.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
Just going to send it.
I'm not putting any money in that.
So... you say, the speed and the whatnot in the desert, is kind of where you lost out. It's not a horsepower thing. It's just a chassis limitations, right?
Yeah,
suspension chassis,
and handling. Yeah, suspension and handling stuff. But so I actually I know, Chris, I know you love my race analytics.
Well, I think that's where you're a step above.
So I figured out the average speed of my day, and I figured out the average speed of the winner.
Okay.
Chase Caprera. Where did I write that down at? Sorry, let me find it.
That's all right. We can.
So Chase's average speed was 32 miles an hour for the day.
Okay.
Wow.
And mine was 19.
Wow.
So I need 13 miles an hour is what I need.
So just out of curiosity, do you know what your top speed was like out on the lake bed?
Yeah, I mean, Emerson's not a very good, it's just a tiny little screenshot of the day, but I think we hit like 94 this year.
Wow.
But I imagine that bomber that chases in, he's probably doing 114 or something like that. But 13 miles an hour, that's what I need if I'm going to run up front.
That's interesting. I mean, that's average throughout the whole day. So, I mean, obviously in the rock areas, you're not going very fast. You're crawling.
Well, and I think some of those miles an hour are easy to get too. If you get a good qualifying run and you can run up front.
Sure. Dust free and no traffic
and no traffic.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, that's one of the biggest, I got to imagine, and you've expressed this, the frustrations is you get in, just like you just talked about in Cougar Buttes. I mean, you're running fine. You got a line, you know where to go, but you can't go there because there's a traffic jam.
Yeah, we started
trail
both of those
tampon.
Cars. Yeah, both of those cars that were broken down, we started in front of, but they passed us in the first 20 miles.
So there you go.
If I'd have been able to fend them off, however long I was in Cougar Buttes, would not even happened,
Right.
So that's just the way I look at it. I know somebody's going to listen to this and be like, well, you can't always say it's going to work that way. And no, it's not. But, I'm looking for variables and things that I can improve on. And, and I see that as a huge one. I need to increase my average speed.
Sure.
So, having said that, your plan is to build a new chassis.
Yeah, put a rocket on it.
Wile E. Coyote.
Acme rocket.
I've got something I can't quite talk about yet, but I've got something I'm excited about.
A little Easter egg.
A little tease.
Yeah,
Easter egg.
Little tease.
Okay. So something for a future podcast.
Yeah.
If you still want to talk to us,
probably reveal that on wheeling on
what
snail trail.
What really?
Something.
No.
They don't even talk. They don't even talk.
Maybe the trail chasers. I don't know. They hooked him up with a good tire sponsor this year, though.
And the tires kicked ass, and they held up and did well.
Mm-hmm.
So Nexen tire, you put them on your tow rig and your Ultra4 car. And
I have the same size tire on my F-250 as I do on the
great?
race car. So I just asked him if I could get 4 more just to get some, a little bit more miles on them and kind of get a better idea of what they're all about. Because people are going to ask you. People ask me all the time about parts on the race car, and you can't really tell somebody everything about a part if you never drive it on the street either.
Exactly.
So, you should put them on the wife's Grand Cherokee.
It might happen. Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe, but maybe some like 35s on a Sawzall or something.
I love it. Love it.
Hey, Mallory, surprise!
Good thing she doesn't listen.
Where's my rig, honey?
That's so good. Okay, so we're getting through the desert.
Yeah, so we got into pit 1, and I thought the car was great. I thought everything was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And front end guy Chris, who used to race 4600, I see him doing something, and then he stands up and talks to Seth, and I'm like,
uh-oh. Ruh-roh.
So Seth gets on the radio, and he tells me, he's like, hey, you got a loose steering ram. Chris is going to tighten it up. And
Okay.
I'm like the mount is loose, or like the hoses are loose.
Right.
Like, what is loose, And so he's like, no, the end cap on the cylinder is
that's right.
Is backing out. It's unthreading itself.
Brand new cylinder.
Brand new
too.
ram. I know. Just had pre-run miles on it.
Yeah.
So Chris had some giant channel locks, so he just grabbed that thing and just spun it back in there.
Go.
And they sent it. They topped off the fluid, and they told us it only took maybe like a third of a quart or something, and sent us on our way. And got on the radio and said that, hey, Chris got it tight, but he's not
Keep an eye
confident.
On it.
Yeah, he's
I
not
heard
confident
that.
It's not going to come loose again.
I heard
was
that.
Like, oh,
yeah,
great.
Oh, boy.
That's what I want to hear. So, we had no choice but to keep racing. So we tore off, and I love skipping main pit. By the way, like it's so much fun. I think as soon as they tell racers there's a remote pit 1, there's main pit, and there's remote pit 2, everybody instantly is like, we got to go to all of them.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun to finish lap 1 and not even like leave the short course. And there's just all these cars in there on the tarps.
Sure.
And, I don't know what they're doing, but I don't really care. But we just cruise through and do the short course and then take off again on lap 2. And I swear we probably passed like 5 cars right there.
And you didn't need fuel or anything.
No, I mean, and maybe that's a big one for some people. But I have a giant fuel tank in that thing. So we just keep going.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we got out to...
Amber tried to do that until her mom told her you have to listen to your mother and come into pit.
She's also a lot more important than I am. So
wow.
Yeah, there's no camera crews waiting for me.
That was awesome. Miles is in the pit. You need to pit right now. You need new springs. You need this. And it was great. Anyways, had to interject that because that was because she seriously tried to bypass Maine.
Yep.
Okay, so you blast through Maine. Boom.
Yeah, you go
lap 2
miles and lap 2, and then you get into Spooners. Going down Spooners this year. So we bebopped our way down Spooners. No big deal. I think we let a car or 2 go by that just seemed to be in a hurry, and that's just not how I rock crawl the rock trails. So we let them go by and just kind of prayed that they weren't going to plug us, up ahead.
Yeah, no trail tampon.
And then we hit the bypass on Spooners, which, man, I swear, some of those bypasses are scarier than the trails,
Oh, for sure.
They're so off camber and so sketchy. But so we got on the bypass of Spooners, finished that up, got into outer limits, came around the corner, and then just broken cars. Like, I don't know. We caught up to at least 5 cars, and I don't know how many of them were no longer in the race.
Wow.
Is this going up or down?
Up outer limits.
Out.
Up.
Yeah, up.
Okay.
Up outer limits.
So, cars with flat tires, just cars completely broken, and people just sitting on the hood and whatever. And right away, I recognized. I was really bummed to see a fellow racer, Jeremy Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Brother from another mother. He was outside his car, had his helmet off. It looked like his day was done. And instantly he saw me and he just started like spotting for me.
That's cool.
And got me up this little section right next to his car and kind of gave me the thumbs up and we went on our way. So, I mean, he's just a class act. He's a really nice guy.
Cool. That's cool.
Even with a name like Jones,
I mean, anybody last name Jones, first name Jason is all good. So you got that going for
Jason
you.
Jones?
That's my brother, too. So.
I think he was maybe in witness protection program or something.
Oh, jeez.
So we got out of outer limits and into remote pit 2. The crew had just gotten set up. We had a little confusion on the radio. I think they were literally putting up the radio antenna as we were like getting in there.
Oh, really?
They didn't understand we were there already. And anyway, so we pulled in and I had to get out and see this cylinder, like figure out what was going on. Because they were telling me like a quarter inch. And I was like a quarter turn or like a quarter inch? And like, no, it had opened up like a quarter inch.
It was in your head.
Like, yeah. So I got out to look at it, and Chris and I agreed, my front axle guy, that it came out far enough that the O-ring that's on it must have gotten cut or rolled as it went back in.
Yeah.
So even though it actually stayed tight, it was dripping from between the ram body and the cap. Sure. So it wasn't coming out of the shaft seal or anything, but it was just going to leak all day. That was just it. So they threw us 2 quarts of power steering fluid in the car because, of course, I don't carry any. Yeah. And we took off. So we just shoved the fluid between our seats and drove away. Perfect. And the plan was every time Robert got out to winch, he was just going to check the fluid.
Top it off a little bit.
Because I figured as long as we could keep it full.
Heck yeah.
So they never backed out again.
It never actually came back out.
Huh.
So
I wonder why it backed out the first time.
I talked to PSC briefly about it afterwards, and they said most of the time when they back out, it's because the ram itself, the shaft, is bent. So I nailed it.
Brand new.
I don't know how that happens. Everything is a fixed situation. It's like,
it really, to me, honestly, like I take the blame because I always talk about the only good parts are proven parts. And you can say something's brand new, but until it's brand new and proven, it's not any good.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
People go down to the parts store and buy a new alternator.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Yeah,
like parts are not good when they're just new. They have to be new and proven.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Those are words to live by.
Like
we need to write that down
like
here.
A Ram truck,
Chris.
Cummins
parts
power,
need to
baby.
be proven.
Cummins power.
So we
really.
I've since mailed that cylinder off to PSC, and they can take it apart and they can figure out what's wrong with it.
Yeah, see what they can see.
So do a little autopsy on it.
Exactly.
Post
race,
post action report.
Okay.
So we took off, and it's that weird little trail that you pre-ran with us that has no name.
Oh shit!
I thought we were going to lose it again on that one.
That was gnarly out there.
It was gnarly.
Yeah,
that's why I say there's so many moments, so many race miles that people never see.
No.
Nobody ever talks about that are way gnarlier than any like spectator area.
I'll tell you, and I'm on 43s, and you're on what 37s?
7s.
Yeah. And stickies, and my buddy was riding with me, Tom, who's like, one of my best friends, and I've done a shit ton of four-wheeling with. So both of us combined have a lot of four-wheeling experience. Not that we're experts by any means, but we got into some situations that day where we were like, we knew going into it, this is not good. This is not a good situation to drive into, but you know what? I'm just like, okay, well, we'll drive into it anyways.
That ain't good.
Yeah. And when Tommy is nervous, that makes me nervous because I respect.
Well, he's crazy.
He's crazy, but yet he knows what he can do and can't do and what his vehicle can do and can't do. And I know what my vehicle can do and can't do and what I can't do, but I was like, holy shit, this is testing. It was testing us. 25 plus years of experience between the both of us. And it was like, there's some serious shit that goes on between the trails at KOH that's not advertised or told. It's just part of the deal. But all of you drivers know about and joke about or whatever. But it was fun. It was genuinely, it was an eye-opening experience for us and really made me appreciate that race even more. Not that I didn't have any respect for it before, but it was like, fuck, you guys are going through some serious freaking terrain.
At race speed.
Yeah, you're trying to do it. Yeah. And there's sections where you're like trying not to roll over, and it's like, this is a stupid little area. It's not, but yet it's 10 feet of, you can roll over and end your race right here.
Yeah.
And this isn't this isn't Spooners. This isn't Chocolate Thunder. This is nothing.
No.
And that's out there everywhere.
I was talking to another 4800 racer, Michael London, 4825. Mm-hmm. He had Terry Madden as his co-driver this year.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And I was talking to him afterwards, and he's like, dude, we rolled over on like Sunbonnet, and it took us an hour just to get the car flipped back over because there was nothing around it. He's on, honestly, if Terry wasn't there, he's like, I never would have even gotten it done.
Wow.
But it's like, there's so many, like I've always said, just like day enders. I mean, there's so many places to just, this is where our story ends,
Yeah.
But nobody ever sees them. So I don't, you talk about like the people at home and wanting to know, like if anybody does have a wheeler of any, capability.
Sure.
I seriously think they should download the race course,
go run it,
Carta Tracks or something, and just go run it.
Yeah.
Because, there's miles where it's just all whooped out, but there's so many miles of stuff that is just like what you and I are describing that nobody even understands are there, and they scare the hell out of you.
It does. It was awesome. It was fun, but it got my attention for sure. And I was just out wreck wheeling that day, and it's like, holy hell.
There's a spot, I think my least favorite spot of the whole course, and I'm not sure, I'm not looking at a map right now. I don't know if it's part of Fissure or if it's part of like Jack North, or I don't know what it is, but you are on a mountain, on a spine. It is narrow, it is loose, it is steep, and I swear either side looks like death. Yeah. Like
Jesus.
Like not like your race is over, but like you're rolling 15 times.
Oh boy.
The devil's just sitting there laughing on your hood.
And it is the quietest.
The ferryman.
Yeah. It is the quietest part of the day for Robert and I, because he knows.
Just let you drive the car.
Just let me drive.
Yeah, don't say anything.
I think we both just hold our breath.
Wow.
Really?
And I just focus really hard on where I want to go and not where I don't. And I just keep the car moving forward up this hill, because it is just, I swear, if you slid left or right, you are going for a ride.
Well, God bless Robert, because I know I hate being a passenger in general four-wheeling, because I'm always driving, and it takes a special person to be, and especially Robert, knowing Robert as well as I do now, that's got to be hard to keep your mouth shut and just like, okay, just let Kevin drive the car. He knows the car. You know, you're just putting full faith in him. Right. It's just like, okay, Jesus, take the wheel. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys do it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've race seated with Jason. It's not a race car.
Chris has done that too.
And like I said, sitting there at Outer Limits that one time, I'm like, I'm not getting out of the car.
Have I ever right seated with you, Chris?
Yes, you have.
I have?
In the snow.
Oh, that's right. Is that when your bumper came off?
No, you were. You had your own rig, or you were right. I don't know what you were. You were riding with Jimmy, I think. But you right seated with me on our adopted trail. And we were going up, not Corral Hollow, the Matley Ridge Loop.
Yes.
And we were in the snow.
Yes.
And all you were doing was playing music.
Well, yeah, I was trying to distract myself from your your driving.
Well, I was fine. We had a good time.
Okay.
All
right, Kevin. So back to the race.
Really? Dick.
Hey. Hashtag 2021 wheeling. Let's do it, Chris.
Make it happen. Sorry, is Kevin still on the line?
No, he left. Kevin left the building. He's still in shock that you went four wheeling. I think he's totally in shock that you've actually driven the Barbie Jeep off road.
God damn! I went with Rodney off roading. God damn it! Really? I mean,
okay, latte maker. Now you're really bringing yourself down.
Really?
Hey, he's
sorry, Rodney.
He's making some improvements on that Jeep. I think he's going to be pretty legit.
The latte maker's badass.
Stainless steel latte machine now.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So back to our regularly scheduled program here. This is what happens on Wheel and Wine and Whiskey.
Off the rails.
At least we're not talking about balls deep old elk on like trail chasers.
Jesus Christ. I had to rewind that and listen to it again. I'm like, I'm doing it wrong.
Apparently you absorb it like osmosis.
Apparently, yeah.
Hey, that's a good way to do it.
Like, Jesus, is that where testicular cancer came from? I don't know. But
no, that would cure it.
I think it's the cure.
That would cure it.
Might be a cure.
That would cure it.
I
guarantee it would cure it. Anyways.
Doing it wrong.
All right. So now, Jesus.
It's off the rails.
Let's bring this on back, Kevin.
Reel it in.
We got off on Barbie G.
This
is gone. It's gone. It's out. No, Jesus. See. Okay. So now we're rolling through the rock section.
Yeah, we're in the rocks.
We're in the rocks. This is like the nuts and bolts of KOH, and this is where you excel.
This is where we shine. So we went down Chocolate Thunder, went up Idle Issues. We had to wait our turn. There were some guys, struggling. But we
that
made
was
it
a
up
tough spot there, right at the bottom of Chocolate Thunder. That transition to Idle Issues.
Our confusion. It was funny. Because we didn't pre-run that correctly. Like when we pre-ran it, we came down the bottom and then just followed the sand dune around and got in at the top, which is like not her problem.
No.
So we actually, when we pre-ran it, we missed idle issues. So we came around this time and we stopped at the bottom, and we're both looking up there like, where do we go? Like, is this where we go? And then we like realized, oh, just to our left were a bunch of cars all screwed up, and we're like, oh, well, that's obviously where we go.
Right.
So yeah, we waited our turn and then made it up idle issues, no problem. Down not her, or up idle issues, and then down not her problem. Right? So yeah,
her problem. Not my problem, her problem.
Yeah, her problem. And then weave around, up and over and back and down and whatever, and get to Jackhammer. Walked right up to the main obstacle where again we had to wait in line. Right. And then this is like my regret from the race. I wish I had given it a shot at the main obstacle on Jackhammer. But we had so much time to sit there and wait, and we were watching people winch that we just got cable out and Robert jumped out. But I've since been watching videos of guys drive it.
Right.
I'm like, I could have driven that. But again, that's part of that because I didn't pre-run it.
Sure.
Like if we'd pre-run it, I would have figured out if I could have one-shotted
if that was possible. Okay.
Yeah. But because we did it blind, I just told Robert, I was like, screw it, just
winch it.
You winch it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care. I don't want to break the car trying to look like a hero. But it's always more fun to look like a hero and get the crowd.
Heck yeah.
Stuff, but
it's great for TV.
And the winch mob crew.
Yeah. So we got up Jack, and then you go upper sledge. Oh, and then I think that's where, you start heading up and over Fissure Mountain. Oh, at some point in the rocks, I looked at the temperature and I noticed we were running like 190. And that's actually, like, believe it or not, that's hot for my car.
Is it really?
Yeah, it'll usually run at like 150 to 170.
Holy shit.
150.
Do you not have a thermostat?
No, I've just got what a lot of the guys would do with an LS, that you pull the thermostat out, you hammer a freeze plug in, and you drill like a 5/16 hole in it.
Yeah, just
but it's just that Griffin radiator that I have in the back
is so efficient.
So big and efficient that it's just insane. But so I had a feeling that we lost one fan out of the two that are on it, and which was okay. Like 190 is obviously no problem. But my big fear was, well, I don't know what took out the first fan, and if we lose the second fan,
that's no problem.
Now we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
So it hung in there 190, 200 until we got back to remote pit 2. And I just told those guys, hey, give me some 30 amp fuses. And I reached under the dash and changed it. And I thought I had it for a minute, and because I heard the fan come on, and then I didn't. And I wasn't quite sure what was going on. So I just threw some fuses in my door pocket, and I said, forget it. Let's just keep going. Like, I don't want to sit here and rewire the car,
That's the good thing. You know your car inside and out, right?
Yeah.
And you're in tune with it. And it's like, that's a cool benefit of you being so involved with your car that, you're like, okay, I know something's not right. XYZ, I need these parts. Let's go. That's invaluable on race day.
I totally agree. I really don't understand how people have other people or companies prep their cars for them. Because I know where that stuff is. I feel like I would feel really unprepared if I didn't know where like my radiator fan fuses were and what amperage they were and stuff like that. So
and how that whole circuit was wired. I mean, like, even if it wasn't a fuse, it was a wiring issue that was grounding out on the frame or something. I mean, there's several things.
Yeah, it's like, I know Robert, he sees some of the rat's nest in the dash. And it gives him anxiety, but I'm like, hey man, it's a lot better than it was when I got the car.
It works, man.
I know where this wire goes.
And more importantly, it's proven.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah,
like, we just got to keep these components together and keep them alive. But anyway, I told him he's more than welcome to wire the new car for me when
perfect.
We get it.
Perfect.
Right on.
This was the other funny part. At one point when Robert got out to winch, he jumped back in. He's like, oh man. I'm like, what? He's like, I don't think I have my catheter anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, when I was out on the rocks, he's like, I stepped on
it.
I stepped on it.
Oh,
he's like,
shit.
He's like, I don't think it's on anymore. And I was like,
heard that first here on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
yeah.
Stepped on it. Oh, that's brutal.
And I could tell it shook his confidence because he's like, I'm not sure if it's there or not. I don't want to piss myself.
I know.
And so the plan was, we knew we were going to try and change the fuses at pit. And he's like, hey, is it cool if I just jump out and take a leak? And I was like,
just kind of check things out.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, you get out. I'll get under the dash and I'll do the fuses and then we'll get going again.
Well, I mean that is a big aspect that, again, a lot of people don't realize.
Oh yeah,
sure. And you look at. I mean, I was tuned into this a few years ago, and it was like, again, at the beginning of the race, and people are lining up, and then I see this liquid coming out of the car, and I'm like, there's no fucking radiator or anything right there, and then I started putting two and two together that's their piss tube coming out their pants, to the floorboard. And so it's a little condom catheter that the guys wear. It's a little more complex, as I got to talk to Amber about.
Okay, we're done.
Her operation, but
we're done.
That's a valid thing. I mean, you're trying to stay hydrated out there for 8, 9, 10 hours, and it's a natural phenomenon.
Just pee yourself.
Got to urinate, because if you had bigger tits, you'd be a 10.
That's right. He's been waiting all night to say that.
I know, that's a great joke. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling. Like, every time I have to go, I have to like focus really hard.
Yeah.
And then to get it started, I'm always afraid like it's not going to work. Like it fell off. All of a sudden
something's going to malfunction.
Off. Yeah. And then you see it running out by your pant leg, and you're like, oh shoot.
Okay, good.
Thank goodness it worked.
All right.
So if you podium, you're not going to have a wet crotch. Yeah, you're all set.
Yeah.
You just got to practice by the campfire. I mean, that's what
we did last year.
Yeah.
We did one the night before, and just to make sure we could
just drinking a bunch of C minuses and just load up, and then it's
I'm telling you, for the Monday night shootout, it's the way to go.
See?
It's the way to go.
That's a great idea.
All right, so we're gonna go down and get those from the Rugged,
Rugged sells them in that other PCS or whatever radios. Yeah, they do too.
Yeah. We use the Rugged ones. They've been good to us. So.
Yeah.
Roberts would have stayed on. If
do they sell extra small for Chris?
Really?
I think I told you last year they
really
they size them. They have truck sizes. That's what they call them.
Truck sizes? Wait.
Yeah, you buy half ton, 3/4 ton,
no,
and 1 ton. Yeah, stop it. That's the packaging.
So I need the F450.
F750 over here.
Whatever. Moving on.
I love it. That's
if Lorenzo
awesome.
was here, we'd be like,
I know,
getting the wave down.
Where's Lorenzo?
We don't know. He is honestly gone. We're sitting here in the home studio where he would normally be, just shaking his head, and nothing. He is gone.
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 Man.
She gone. So I there's been some good leads that he is in Lasertown in Johnson Valley, which isn't a bad place to be, and I can't blame him.
He'd probably be hanging out in the pond, hanging out in Cody's pond.
Yeah, I mean, you got the fish pond, you've got the swimming pool.
Well, hopefully they're doing
rock garden.
They're doing that Kurt Leduc's there today. Hopefully he's not getting around.
I know. And maybe somebody will pick him up. I don't know, but we
might be getting some ass too. Who knows?
He's out on the. I suspect. I hope that he is at Lasertown, and that's my. I mean, that's a good place to be. If you got to end up in the desert, Lasertown's not a bad place to be.
Not a bad. You'd be like the caretaker.
Whatever. But I'd like resident ass.
If he could send up a flare and say, "Hey, I'm here."
I would love a little letter or correspondence like, "Hey, I'm okay. Don't worry about me, guys. I got this. You guys have already got this podcast thing going. It's good, but we relied on him quite a bit, and he is MIA. I've got nothing.
Gone.
So, you know,
I expected to start seeing like random photos of like his travels around, you know, the U.S. or something.
Exactly.
Whoever's got him was going to start, you know, perching him at Mount Rushmore and hashtag Lorenzo.
Exactly.
And I was be all around, you know.
Be like, where's Waldo?
Honestly, I was hoping for that. I was hoping for a ransom letter, like a half a pack of Marlboros and some Jim Beam or something, you know, ransom note. But I got nothing. And, you know, I vetted all my prime suspects, and nobody is saying anything.
Nope.
And it is a true mystery. And I honestly, I think it's one of the funniest freaking things, because it was a, you know, paper mache stuffed donkey with rabbit fur. But
exactly.
There are people that are genuinely concerned. I get messaged and DM'd daily of like, have you found Lorenzo yet? Do you know where he is? Have you heard anything? And I'm like, oh my God, this is a stuffed fucking donkey that we talked about on this podcast at the end of the day. But it's funny, right? This whole scenario, and
as soon as you told me he was gone, I was like instantly like, dang it, what a good idea. Like,
I know.
I wish.
Why didn't I think of that?
Publicity stunt. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, if this one scenario of like somebody took him and is like holding them and then gonna like reveal them like 6 months from now, that's pretty freaking good on you, because it's been radio silent. And
exactly.
that's a professional right there.
That's a patient person.
Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. But Lorenzo is MIA, and we're carrying on here.
There we are.
You know,
we're interviewing.
Got to move forward.
Looking for a new super producer.
It's just like losing a power steering ram or pump out there at the KOH. You got to move forward, man. You got to keep plugging along.
Gotta keep on keeping on.
Gotta keep on keeping on. So there you go.
Shit.
All right. So where are we now? We're almost through the rocks.
Yeah.
And Robert stepped on his piss tube, and it was okay.
Yep. I think we're actually at this point. I think we're okay. Yeah. So you leave here, remote pit 2 for the second time, and that's when I think you do Highway 20, 19.
Yeah.
Sunbonnet, all that stuff.
Yes,
we'd pre-run all that, and we knew it wasn't hard. There's just some bumpy miles in there. So I think at this point we felt pretty good. Like, okay, we're keeping power steering fluid in the car. The fan thing is what it is, but we made it through all the stuff that we were worried about, you know, jackhammer and up and over fissure and all that stuff. So, and later in the day too, like another aspect of this is, you start seeing less and less cars. Like,
right. That's just the attrition rate is just...
between the attrition rate and everybody spacing out.
Yeah.
You know, it just, your day starts to get a lot quieter.
Wow.
It's really busy in the beginning, in the first couple hours.
Sure.
Especially like that Cougar Buttes, you know, type of scenario.
Just cluster.
Yeah. The longer your day goes on, like all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, look, I see dust, you know, way out in the future, you know, in the distance. And you're like, let's go get it. So you end up having these just long stretches where it's just you know, and I'm okay with that. I like that stuff, because I feel like that's truly when we get to race our own race.
Yeah. And it's just you and the car, right? And your co-pilot there, Robert's sitting in the right seat, and it's like, okay, let's just hammer down and get this done.
Yep. So, we got through all those trails. We got on Emerson. Got it up to speed
95.
Yeah, somewhere right in there. And I don't have a tachometer in the car, so it sounds like $5,000. And honestly, like 5,000 RPMs for 3 miles, like starts to get into your head.
Sure,
like,
sure.
You're like, am I really going to throw a rod just for what? You know, like, I mean, it's a 7-hour race for me. Am I really all that concerned about, you know?
Sure.
But, anyway, we got across the lake bed, got back through the desert, and we didn't even have the sun in our eyes really yet. I was really worried about, because you're headed west at that point.
Sure.
And I was really worried it was going to be late in the day and we were going to have a lot of sun and it was going to be hard to see, but we were still early enough. And that's what I remember kind of being kind of cool. Like, I was like, oh man, we're still doing good. We're like way ahead this year, you know, like we got a lot of daylight. So, finished up lap 2 and, you actually finished lap 2 on the end of lap 1. Like, so some of the race miles were the same, and we already knew them. And yeah, I mean, now at this point, we'd pre-run them and raced them already once that day. So we knew there were no surprises. So we just tried to keep it together and stay efficient. And if we saw dust, chase it. I think we passed like one more car, maybe 2, after we came off the lake bed, and came in for a finish. Like, I don't know, almost like we knew what we were doing.
I know. So okay, so I got to go back. So you mentioned on the Trail Chasers podcast that in Jackhammer, when it was just a big cluster, and I just got to defend myself here because I had my buggy radio, ham radio in camp. We had the live feed going on in our camp kitchen. And so I'm trying to help out. And so I had really good communication with your crew chiefs, Seth, the shirtless farmer there. So we were going back and forth. Wino, shirtless farmer. Okay, where you at? Blah, blah, blah. But to my defense, you asked, where are we? Where do we stand? What position are we in? And so I'm like, okay, let me check. So I pull up the app. Now, the only good thing I think of that Yellow Brick app is that it was up to date. In the years past, when I followed my favorite racers and stuff, it was up to date and could tell me exactly where everybody was. Well, this app this year, it was delayed. And like at one point, I actually talked to Seth, and I don't know if you heard that radio transmission. I'm like, dude, he hasn't moved in like 12 minutes. I'm like, this is not good. Broken down something, right? And it was just because the app wasn't updating for everybody. There's some cars it was keeping up to date, no problem, and communication issues, whatever. I don't know. It's 2021. There should be no communication issues.
COVID, dude. It's all about COVID.
It's all COVID. Whatever. But yeah, so I was super frustrated that I couldn't keep up to date. And then you ask me for a position, and I bring up the app, and then it's like lagging, and you're like, what effing position am I in? And I'm like, yeah, I heard you, but I got no data on my end.
No, I granted, I was very fatigued, but I vaguely remember asking you what position I was in, and I swear you're a jackhammer. And I was like,
no, I know that.
Like, I know that.
Tell me something I don't know, dickhead.
Yeah, no, seriously, what position am I in?
So,
no, anyways.
I tried to be a little more direct.
You were direct, and it was great, and I was laughing on the other end.
We have some radio communications training at work. And one of the points is give clear instructions and ensure they are understood.
Right.
So I figured if I emphasized the question, maybe it would help.
It did help.
I got the answer I was looking for.
And to your defense there, your communication, being in a loud vehicle, there's a lot of background noise and everything, was not as clear as Seth that's sitting in a quiet environment. Where we had super crystal clear communication.
But Jason was also balls deep in his old elk.
I was balls deep in my old elk at that point. No, I wasn't. I maybe had a red beer at that point, I think. Maybe. I wasn't. No, I was totally coherent and good. But
you're doing it wrong.
But seriously, I think to that point, we need to tap into Tyler's radio expertise and get some better communication in Hammertown.
Well, he needed to be there.
I know Seth sets up that big old antenna, and that's why I could hear him well. But we could improve on our communication end in Hammertown itself, I think. So
yeah. I think we need the same setup that we keep in the chase truck.
Yeah,
I need another one that we can set up.
Yeah, that needs to be in your camp or our camp or whatever it is. But that would be good. But anyways, I just had to defend myself from the Trail Chaser podcast there.
You did a good job.
I rest my case.
Kept your honor.
Your honor?
Keep honor and stay honor.
Your honor?
Get honor and stay honor.
Okay. So you ended up finishing 11th.
But hey, so it doesn't sound like I was mad at you or anything like that.
I'm not upset.
No, I know, but it was really cool.
You look upset.
I don't look upset.
Do
I?
You put my daughters on the radio to talk to me. That was really cool.
So that was actually cool. So Mallory and who was with her? It was
Molly, Robert's wife.
Robert's wife. Okay, so your co-pilot's wife, and then your two daughters wandered into our camp, and then so we had everything set up. She could watch. Huh?
Like straight
No,
dogs?
we invited them into camp. Said, hey, come on in. So they did that day, and so they were watching. And then you and I were communicating, and then Seth, and then I'm like, I was kind of sheepishly going like, hey, your wife and daughters are here, you want to talk to them, and so you go, yeah, put them on, and then so you were able to talk to your daughters, and that was super cool. It was actually one of the highlights of the day, in my opinion, to get that aspect going.
It was perfect too, because I was just in a parking lot on Jackhammer.
Yeah. So it was super cool for your daughters to be able to communicate with you out there. But anyways, and that's you think about this whole thing, the race, as serious as it is, and everything that you work up to. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're out there. Yeah, it's not your livelihood. It's not your wage, right? You're out there to have fun and compete and do well, and you want to do well, but to have your family out there and friends and everything supporting you, and you get in those situations and have your daughter reach out on the airwaves. That's pretty freaking cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, George is right when he says, I should take it more serious, but at the same time, Seth is in the other ear saying, don't forget to enjoy this.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. And everybody's they're supporting you.
There's a sweet spot in there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so you finished 11th.
Yep.
In your class.
Yep.
And then overall was 23rd?
No, 14th.
Oh, 14th overall.
What?
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so essentially that translates to, I said there were 9 4,500 cars somewhere in front of us when we started, but then by the finish, there were only 3.
Okay. So that's awesome. And then, so does that secure you a spot for next year, or? Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. The fanfare is up and running tonight.
No, it's only 4,400s have to actually earn.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we just pay to play.
You just pay to play.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, that's really freaking cool, and gets you going for next year. Well, now let's talk about the rest of this year. So
exactly.
So you got BFE coming up here, Moab in a few weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah, I think I reset the countdown timer in the garage. I think it says like 21 days right now.
Oh,
ooh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually dug into the car last night, and the very first part I took off didn't look good. So let's see how this is going to go.
It wasn't the engine, was it?
No.
Okay, good.
No. Yeah, I guess that would be looking at it. Could always be worse. Right?
It could be a lot worse. So you're planning on doing BFE, and then the next race after that,
San Felipe.
San Felipe.
Yep.
Mexico.
And then Sturgis.
And then you're planning on doing Sturgis. That is so cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
we're gonna see what this credit card's made of this year.
Hey, that's right, man. Smoke that sucker up, just melt it down. I am trying my damnedest to get out. I've looked at flights and everything to get out to Moab, and I found a very feasible option. I just need to check with the wife to see if I can make this happen.
Right.
So,
Lorenzo, what do you think?
No, Lorenzo's not here. He don't even care anymore.
Yeah, it should be cool. Your buddy Dan and his friends are actually going to come help pit for me. So
yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see.
Well,
he's just going to tell you to push the pedal. To the floor.
It's the on-off switch with Dan too. But no, he great mechanical engineers there, so they will definitely help out. much like Amco, Double A, Andrew Cole.
Man, did you see that he pulled the transmission again?
No,
I know. I've been talking to him the last few days. So for our listeners that don't know, so Andrew, you and I met at Fordyce last year when we were up there just wreck wheeling on the Fordyce Creek Trail, and he was in a side-by-side with his father, correct? And got wadded up and broke an axle, and so man, he was well prepared, knew what he was doing, had this thing fixed, and we were there helping him out. And from that connection, I handed him a Wheeling Wine and Whiskey sticker and business card, and just like, hey, dude, check out this podcast. And so he started listening or whatever, and learns your story, and goes, dude, I want to help Kevin out, and he ends up pitting for you this year.
Yep.
And has this new to him portal buggy, pretty badass, that he got from the Wicks, Chris Wicks and stuff. And anyways, had some serious tranny issues out there. He was supposed to pre-run with us. Tranny issue, ends up going in and getting another tranny from this guy that like rebuilds trannies in his backyard out of Yucca Valley or something. So he pulls the tranny out on the trailer on the lake bed, takes it to this guy, rebuilds it, puts it back in, and had some kind of issue, right? Did he lose reverse or something?
Yeah, I don't remember what. Yeah,
I can't remember either.
Order of events,
but it wasn't right.
No, I think it made it like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, he actually drove into our camp. So he drove from your pit to our camp.
It's working.
I'm like, oh, dude, right on. We're going to pre-run. Okay, great. And then something went wrong.
Yeah.
Ended up pulling it out, going back to the guy.
Jesus.
I mean, pulling a tranny is no easy operation in any car.
He did it twice.
Yeah, he did it twice and then put it out. And then your dad, I love your dad. So I said, hey, is Andrew around? He goes, oh, you mean Amco? I go, holy shit, that is perfect. That's so great. From now on till the day I die, Andrew is going to be Amco in my book.
Double A MCO.
Yeah, Double A MCO. So anyways, we've been corresponding because he's been posting up rebuilding not one but two trannies in his backyard right now. And I'm like, holy crap. So anyways, much love for Andrew and his I would have given up. I would like to think that I'm a fighter, but you pull that tranny out and put it in and then it fails again. I would have said F it, and I would have just buried myself in the bottom of a bottle of whiskey at that point at KOH. But
where's Jason? Over there.
Yeah. More power to him. He just fought to get that thing running and working right. And anyways, that's there the Amco story. God love you, Andrew.
KOH is hard on stuff.
Yeah.
Not just race cars.
No.
Wreck wheelers, everything, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of carnage out in the desert. But, it's cool that, the people are out there wrenching on stuff and making it happen and trying to make it happen. And he got an A for effort for sure. My God.
Yeah.
My God. So, yeah.
Right on.
So, all right, to wrap this thing up and put a bow on it. So Moab coming up, so you're just getting back into the car and seeing what you need to do.
Yeah, I just found a smoked axle shaft in the back last night.
So, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a like chicken or the egg type of thing. I got to do some more forensics, but the positive part so far is on a weekend, I already found a place to build me a new 35 spline 300M shaft. So
great.
Wow.
Yeah. PPM Performance in Corona is going to knock that out.
Okay.
So
not Brannick or anything?
No, I kind of threw it out there, and two people always ask me, they ask me how like Instagram is as an experience. Mm-hmm. And I said, I really didn't know before I started putting myself out there. And I mean, you guys see it. I'm sure the listeners that follow do too. Like, I just throw stuff out there and I'm constantly amazed at what comes back. And I don't share a lot of that just because I don't know that maybe everybody cares.
Right.
But I had two random people that don't know each other recommend to me the same shop, PPM.
Wow.
So I messaged them and I was like, oh shoot, it's a weekend. And sure enough, the guy like responds right back. He's like, yeah, here's our number. You know, we'll get started Monday.
How cool is that?
That is awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, as much as people don't like social media, it has been a godsend for me. It has been such a networking tool that I don't think I could operate as efficiently as I am without it. And
well,
you just need to be able to filter through the junk.
Well, and I don't think
you definitely have to do that.
You do, but like, okay, for example, you were throwing out a shit ton of stories, right? These videos of leading up to KOH, and people started following that and like, okay, what's Kevin doing tonight? Because you'd post, 3, 4, 5 more videos every night. Right. And it was cool. And so your true fans were following along and watching that progress and the troubles that you were experiencing and the hurdles and stuff. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute, I know so-and-so that could, might have an answer or whatever. And you're right. That is the cool thing. And you got to wade through the BS, but I think the people that are in the know that were responding, definitely had some really good positive feedback to help out, because I see it too, even just with the podcast and people responding and stuff, and it is a really cool way to connect the community and learn about hey, where do I get XYZ? Oh, well, talk to so and so and this and that, and here's a phone number, and here, talk to John, and it's like next thing you know, you got more information than you ever
thought you'd get.
Yeah. And that's awesome. That's really
pretty cool. I've been enjoying it. And it is a huge time suck, but
it is.
I feel like I'm getting more out of social media than I'm putting into it. So
good.
As long as it keeps going that way for me, you guys will keep seeing me.
Yeah.
On the Insta.
On the IG.
On the gram.
On the gram. Instaland gram.
So they're gonna make you a new shaft, and you're gonna. So what
happened to the old shaft? Did it splines? Did we got break? What's going on?
So what I noticed was
what's wrong with your shaft, Kevin?
Yeah, what's wrong with my
people want to know?
The car was sitting in the garage the last couple of weeks while I was trying to maintain my marriage and all that stuff. But I walked out in the garage and I saw gear oil leaking from the hub. And I was like, well, that's weird. They don't leak, So
they're not supposed to leak.
They're not supposed to leak. So I was like, after I washed it, I was like, I'm going to dive into that first. And I thought maybe it's just a bad bearing or maybe the lip on the seal rolled or, whatever. But I pull the hub apart and then I pull the full float axle shaft out. It's the short side on the rear.
Okay.
And as soon as it comes out, like a little bit of the ways, I see this nasty blued galled spot on it.
Oh no.
So heated up.
And I'm like, this thing's supposed to be full float. Like, it's not supposed to touch anything.
Yeah, it shouldn't be heating up.
Shouldn't be getting hot and rubbing on stuff. So I didn't have enough time last night to figure out what's going on, but the shaft got to the inside of the spindle.
Oops.
And so I don't know if the spindle's bent.
Something's bent.
Yeah, I don't know if the axle shaft twisted and then like it's kind of bananaed.
Yeah.
I don't know if I bent the whole housing.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, right?
All I do know is the axle shaft is definitely compromised. It wiped out the splines pretty good.
Wow.
On the the drive flange side, the outside. So regardless, I have to have a new shaft made. But I might have a bent housing, which I don't really want to deal with in 3 weeks.
Without the credit card, boom.
No, you got a front housing.
I got a front, but
but you don't have the rear. Yeah,
I was trying not to do a rear until the new chassis because I want to build it for 4-link.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, I know I've got rough stuff in my pocket if things are really ugly.
Sure.
But again, I'm trying to race on a tight budget.
So, right.
I was hoping that all the money I put in for hammers would get me most of the way through the year, but I mean, here I am. I already need a 300M axle shaft. So
yeah,
I don't even know what that's going to cost yet.
Yeah. It's $17.95.
It's not even a Jeep. Just empty every pocket.
Yeah.
Well, crap. Well, that's welcome to the world of racing.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the least of your problems, man.
Yeah. I tell people, they're like, man, I really wish I could go racing. I'm like, it's easy. Just take all your money and light it on fire,
right?
And just say, making memories. So.
How do you make $1 million racing? You start out with 10 million. That's how you do it. It's real simple. Real simple.
My God.
Simple ag math right there.
Absolutely.
Man.
So yeah, I've got 3 weeks. I gotta pull the axles apart.
So you got plenty of time.
Inside. Yeah. I'm gonna drop the transmission pan. I'm gonna send another oil sample to Blackstone.
Okay.
It's funny. So I got my first lab results back from Blackstone when I was driving 2 hammers, and then my phone went ding. I got the email, and I was like, I'm not going to look at it because I don't want to know anything about my motor right now.
Oh yeah. It's like so high metal particulate matter.
Exactly. So I looked at it when I got back, and my lead is like through the roof.
Oh really?
Uh-oh.
So I called them and talked to one of their analysts, and they're like, well, it could be race gas. And I'm like, no, it's not race gas.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's probably bearing material. And I'm like, okay, well, how does this fit in the spectrum of what you guys see,
Right.
And she's like, I think the thing you have going for you is you don't have any copper yet. And she's like, under the lead, and the babbitt of the bearings is copper.
Sure.
Right.
So she's like, usually we see lead, and then we see lead and copper, and then we see like just copper.
Then we see problems.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, and she's like, the other problem is, it's your baseline sample. So we don't know if something's getting worse. We don't know anything.
True.
So
maybe it's just wore in perfectly right now.
Yeah. So I'll just keep sending them oil after every race.
And well, that will be interesting. Yeah. Now that you've got that baseline to see, is it increasing? Is it not?
I think it's going to be a great way for a guy like me that can't afford to tear his motor down.
Right.
To just pay attention,
Yeah.
I'll just cut my oil filters open. I'll do my oil sample, send it to them, and then I'll do compression checks. And if everything looks good, I'll just run it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to look at it.
Yep.
So, all right. So now it's just
race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get ready for the next race.
Get ready for the 1 a.m. Instagram stories.
Oh man, here we go. 21 days, huh?
Yeah.
Put up the timer.
Oh boy. It's amazing. Mallory's letting you do a few more races this year.
I don't know who's dumber, me for wanting to do it or her for letting me.
I love that she supports you, and
she's a good woman.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely don't deserve her, but
no.
Whatever. It worked out. It's working out, but that's so cool. Man, what a story, and obviously, we're going to continue following and see what's leading up to Moab here.
BFE.
Yeah, and the other 2 races this year. But holy smokes, Kevin, just keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm pretty pleased. I gotta just, I got to live in the moment. I keep, I have a tendency to just always aimed on the future, but I got to remember to enjoy the success while it's here.
For sure. And
you deserve it.
Yeah, you got a great team that you've built, and obviously the old dog's still hunting, so that's good, man. Just keep pushing her down the track, and and then you upgrade to the new whatever you got in the future,
whatever it is,
that will you will appreciate it that much more, right?
Hopefully you'll reveal it with us first. It's
funny. I've actually, Yeah, I've got some plans.
Yes,
so
you do.
You guys will be the first.
I appreciate it. Yes,
Sweet.
that's cool. Yeah, drop it like it's hot.
Stay tuned. Wheeling Wine Whiskey.
There it is. More on KJ's operation here. So, anything else you want to include before we sign off here?
No, I just I boneheaded on the stage because I was dehydrated and tired, but I crushed all the sponsor drops, but I forgot to thank the whole pit crew of everybody, my dad and Seth and
for sure,
and George and Robert, obviously, and his wife for letting him do it, and Chris and Zach and Monty and Aaron came out from Indiana to help us.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, my wife it can't be said enough. She's just super amazing. So.
Yeah, she really is. Yeah, and that was cool. Yeah, you had all your sponsors. You mentioned Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, so you're good in our book.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm serious. Like when Mallory told me the night before, she's like, write down all your sponsors. I literally just wrote sponsors. I didn't write a thank you.
Yeah.
So I didn't write like pit crew and like my wife, and I totally boneheaded.
It's so hard. I mean,
I'm new.
It's not. It's,
I'm new.
Preoccupied. Man.
I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
I'm not sure what to do with them. Just keep them down by your side.
Just put them down your side. No, it is. It's and it's not that you take those people for granted. It's just that it's part of the operation. It happens, and it's like okay,
it's
yeah, it is. I can't even imagine. In that moment, trying to thank the hundreds of people that have helped you out. Yeah. So get that right. Sure. Yeah. Yep. So that's super cool.
Just get it right next time. That's all.
Yeah.
I know.
He got Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. That's a good one.
Yeah. Right on, Kevin.
But hey, man, so fun. Thank you for your time this evening and getting the update and the final on KOH 2021 that actually happened. I still can't believe it happened.
Woo-hoo.
I know.
And it didn't become a super spreader event.
No.
And
how about that? Huh?
This is great. This
epic.
This is like, hey, we can go out off-roading and have fun and be safe during a pandemic.
It's like a level of normalcy.
Yeah, it really is. It's super. I love it. It's super comforting.
Exactly.
Well, we'll be in touch, as you know. Yeah, and keep up to date on your operation. And best of luck. And hopefully the housing's not bent, and it's just a I don't know, Fugazi in there. You'll figure it out. You'll know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll overcome.
That's exactly it. And BFE's only a 20-mile race or something, 30-mile race. So that's nothing compared to.
I'm pretty last year they raced for 3 hours.
Yeah.
In, my class, and this year they've only got a 2-hour window. So
see,
I'm a little bummed just because I think that long game is where I shine. But we'll just make the most of it.
Well, you just that on-off switch gas pedal would just have to be on the whole time. That's all.
Right.
Yep.
Lighten the load and just pedal to the metal.
That's it.
All right, Kevin,
man.
thank you.
We'll follow up with you. Thanks, and best of luck in the future races.
Cool. Thank you guys as always.
Our pleasure, man. All right, take care. Well, there you go. How about that? There was a lot of good stuff there.
Well, it's epic, and hopefully you all enjoyed that.
Can you imagine? I mean, it gives you an insight of what it's like to race KOH, Everyman Challenge, Every Woman Challenge,
Every Person Challenge.
Every Person Challenge. Yeah, let's be gender neutral in this whole thing.
Every non-binary.
Any human challenge. Every human challenge. Maybe that's what they should call it. I know. I think we offended so many people right now.
Every biologically
especially
functioning
if you fucking drive a Prius, you should really be offended right now. Anyways,
you're a biologically functioning entity.
Yeah, right. It gives you some insight of what it takes to get ready for this race the race, and all the shit that happens during the race that's totally out of your control.
Yep.
Your car's running good, but yet you're stuck on the trail waiting for traffic. There's no feasible way around traffic without rolling over and causing more damage. And,
or you need to take a piss.
Oh, yeah. And then the simple just taking, biological functions of the human body. I mean, it's just, it's, there's a lot going on that day. And it's great to get some insight there and appreciate Kevin for sharing his story as he has with us over the
uncensored stories.
Well, yeah, we kind of got into some stuff there, but
it was yeah.
It's a good thing we got an explicit label.
That's right.
We cut out some of the other stuff, but no, it's cool. So, it's going to be fun to watch the rest of the season play out.
Oh yeah, no,
especially
BFE.
for the our drivers. I call them our drivers because they're our drivers.
Yeah,
Kevin and Amber.
They're going to be at Moab.
Yeah, in Moab, Utah. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out for them. And I love that they've committed to doing the West Coast series. So yeah, man, I don't know what else to say.
You got goosebumps? I mean,
well, yeah, I kind of do. I mean, it's fun following these people and seeing, their story unfold, and I know, their heart's in it, and they all want to win. But the reality of winning is so fucking far out there, reach and luck has to be on your side.
The formula is complex.
Oh God,
it really is. I mean, like you mentioned, luck plays an important part into it.
You could be the best, most expensive, i.e. Cody Wagner, quote unquote, best car out there, and leading the race the whole way, and then fucking
King's Graveyard
broke down in King's Graveyard. So, what are you going to do? It's just that's racing. That's
racing.
That's the beauty of racing.
That's what you call it.
Love it, hate it, live it, race it, run it. What does Will Speck say?
Love it, live it, race it.
So, anyways, great stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. What else? Do we need to thank our sponsors?
Well, we don't have Adelaida.
And so let's talk about wine for a second, because we have been a little absent in the wine department.
We have.
And we went to Paso Robles this evening.
We did.
We didn't physically go there, but we went there in the wine world.
We did, and we need to get down there.
We need to get back there. Paso Robles, for those of you that are in the wine scene, is the old exploded. Well, it has totally exploded, because there was like 8, maybe 10 wineries when I was going to school there in the 90s, and then now it's just like freaking over 100
that's
wineries.
What I heard.
But the cool thing about Paso Robles is it still has the mystique and the old school Napa feel and pricing. Now, there's some Paso wineries that have got up into the $40, $50 tasting fee range. Yeah, no, they're out there. I can name a few. I'm not going to, because I don't want to give them any freaking credit. But not that their wines are bad. Their wines are good. But that's just asinine. I'm sorry.
The trend is not good.
Anything over $25, $30 for tasting fees is just getting out of control.
Over 10 is out of my price range.
There you go.
That's why I live in Livermore.
Yeah. And there you go. Livermore is another great wine region. But Paso has got some wonderful wineries that are super affordable. You go out and have a great time. You can go hit 2, 3, 4 wineries a day if you're a renegade. If you're running with me, you're going to hit 5 or 6. So buckle up, buttercups.
Make sure you have a limo.
Pack a lunch.
Get a limo.
But so we started out with Halter Ranch. Halter Ranch in Paso there. Yeah, incredible place. They put some serious cash into this place.
One of the best.
Yeah, and they built this incredible facility there, and spared no expense to create the best wine that they could. And we started with the Ancestor. It's called Ancestor. So that's their top cab, which it was funny. So we walked into the cellar tonight.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, we need a big cab. We need a big Petite Syrah or whatever. And so I said, okay, well, you were looking at the Syrahs. I was looking at the cabs, and I found the Ancestor. And that bottle of Ancestor 2012 is one that when you and I went to Paso Robles,
that's right,
on a wine junket, obviously, but went down there and started. It was, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. It was midweek. It wasn't.
We were the first two down.
Yeah, it was early on in this trip. We were meeting up with more people, and so anyways, we're talking and having a great time, and they gave us the full attention because we were the only two people in the winery tasting room at that time. And
that's right.
And then I just mentioned, hey, I'm general manager of a golf course, and oh, well, hey, Mr. Green, boy, the whole tone freaking changed, and he handed us this bottle of wine. He says, here, you need to try this.
That's right.
And gave us the bottle of wine. So that was in 2012. So here we are, 2021, drinking that bottle of wine. Pretty freaking cool.
Absolutely.
And it aged well, and it could have aged longer.
Oh yeah,
it was definitely very good, but it had a few more years left in it if it wanted to go there. But I'm glad we drank it now.
Very tasty, very smooth. It was one of the more robust wines I've had.
Yeah. It was velvety too. I mean, it just, the flavors were on point. And that, Paso has got a unique growing climate there, and with the grapes and
ocean influence, coastal influence.
Well, that's it. But they don't get the fog, because that just kills the whole operation. But it is. I was very, very pleased with that wine.
Oh, for sure.
Especially the price was right.
Yeah, well,
normally I think that's like a $50 or $60, $70 bottle of wine, something like that.
I'd have to look it up.
Fagizzi, whatever.
Yeah, it's free. I mean, so
yeah, and then we rounded out with this Adelaida. So Adelaida,
another great wine.
Oh man, and I'm not a huge Pinot Noir fan, but they make a killer Pinot Noir, and that's why I joined that winery years ago.
But this was not a Pinot that we.
This was not a Pinot, no. But I was just leading into the story of my acquaintance with that. I rolled up to this old walnut farm. I mean, it was a walnut orchard,
right?
And they still have walnut trees there.
Yeah.
And the cool thing was they had wine barrels filled with walnuts. And then they had the crusher there, so you could walk into the tasting room and crush your own walnuts and have some fresh walnuts.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, that was early on. So that's changed now because they upgraded the whole operation. But it was a cool old farm feel.
Okay.
So I tasted. You start out with the whites, and their whites were good, and then the Pinot, and I was like, wow, this Pinot is like super earthy, really good. And then it went into their heavier wines, into their Merlots and Cabs and Syrahs, and I was like, wow, I just really like their wine from day one, all across the board, and joined them, and I've been with them for years, and never been disappointed with any of their wines. So tonight we opened up a 2013 Syrah, so it's not a Petite Syrah, but a Syrah, and man, that doesn't disappoint either.
No,
super smooth.
It's really good. I'm gonna take another swig here.
The berries on this thing are like right there up front, but not
fruit forward.
Yeah,
sure.
but not overpowering.
No.
I mean, it's just like, this is like a really smooth sipper.
Citrusy, cherry.
Yeah, you getting tobacco? I'm getting a little tobacco, a little dark cherry tobacco. But really good.
Tinge dry, just a little dry finish.
Oh yeah, that's the tannins.
I'm not really catching the tobacco like you're catching.
Really?
But
individually, it doesn't say anything on the bottle, anything about it. So other than the government warning and where it's produced,
little leather bound book.
Oh, there you go, getting a little undertones, old leather bound book. Hey, what do you think the alcohol is on this thing? That's always a fun.
Oh, it's a typical 14% or whatever.
15.5. Boom.
Wow, that's a little on the hot side for a wine.
I wouldn't have guessed that by tasting it because it doesn't taste that hot, but it's up there. Anyways, Adelaida's a great one. So if you are wanting to visit or in the Paso Robles area and hitting some wineries, there's so many to choose from, but I highly recommend going to Halter Ranch. You will not be disappointed.
No.
They do some killer tours out in the vineyard and stuff. Well, prior to COVID, I don't know.
Well, things are opening up again. Things are getting better. I will say that. And last weekend, just as an interjection,
interject.
A couple of friends of mine and I.
You have friends?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
We were able to go wine tasting once again.
Is that Ira and Lori?
Ira and Lori.
Oh,
yeah.
very nice.
To a sort of normal level of normalcy.
You hit 3 wineries.
3 wineries last Sunday, a week ago.
Sunday.
It was really nice to get out and do it again. We were in Livermore, local to our homes. Hit Bent Creek, which I'm a member of. And then
always good wines that are very reasonably priced. I mean, like $20 some odd for a bottle, and good stuff.
Super good. Bent Creek, and then we went up to Eagle Ridge and saw Jim and his wife, the owners, up there, and partook in some tasting there.
Eagle,
and then wrapped the day up over at Wood Family.
And they got a good Cab Franc. Did you try the Cab Franc?
They did not. They were not tasting that.
Oh, see, I would have made sure they would have opened that up.
Well, I'm not a member there, but Ira and Lori are.
Yeah, I would have.
That was not on the menu. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is things are starting slowly but surely open back up.
That's good.
It's getting
That's a good sign.
Back to a level of normalcy, which is
how about
great.
the brewery across the street there from Wood?
Open for pickup only.
That's Altamont Brewery, right?
Altamont Brewery, Brewing Company.
Yeah, pickup only.
And there was dark.
Okay.
There was nobody in the parking lot.
Interesting.
I think you could order online and do a drive-by. That was about it.
Drive-by. Not a drive-by. Drive-through.
Back in the old days, drive-bys would be bad things.
Yeah.
But nowadays, drive-bys
apparently drive-bys are all the rage now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I did a drive-by on Wente this morning for
nice.
you.
Yes, you did. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Well, okay. So that's really good to hear. It sounds like a great time, and getting back to some sort of freaking form of normalcy would be great.
Well, as being winos like we are, and not being, I mean, for me specifically, living in a wine region and having 50 wineries, 40, 50 wineries in Livermore,
at least,
and they're just all shut down. Sucks.
Yeah.
And now it's all of a sudden, hey, we're reopened. Let's come on out. Obviously we had to follow protocol and stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah, wear your mask
but still it was nice. It was good to see people again and be out.
Good. Well, that's encouraging. So, you got those areas, and hopefully you're out there enjoying it, because there's Livermore and Paso, I think, are some of the best bangs for the buck for wines.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate here in California, in that, of course, Napa and Sonoma and all that stuff is known as wine regions, but Livermore is one of the oldest wineries. Wente is, I think, the oldest winery in California.
One of them for sure.
I think they're the oldest, and
they got the caves.
And it's a great region. It gets super hot in the summertime, which the grapes love, and then same thing with Paso. And you get a little of that coastal influence down there, and produces some great wine, and that's right near Kevin Jones there too.
Kevin Jones, right?
Yeah,
we got
gives us an excuse to go visit him again.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I know we've it's Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, but we've neglected the wine scene. We've been drinking it. It just we haven't been talking a lot about it. But those are 2 wineries we wanted to highlight tonight.
Yep.
So it's all personal preference. You just got to go out and try stuff. But those 2 wineries, Halter Ranch and Adelaida, down there in Paso, check it out if you're in the area. And I would be hard pressed for you to say that it sucked, because
you wouldn't be disappointed.
No, you will not be disappointed. You're going to find something that you like if you like wine. If you don't like wine, then good luck. Good luck, players. Yeah, just drink Fireball and fuck it. So
on that note, it's kind of going to be a long episode, but we'd like to wrap up with saying, how do you get a hold of us? Well, Lorenzo's missing in action.
MIA, gone.
So don't even worry about his email address anymore, because he's gone.
Show's gone to shit.
He's gone. We're looking for a new super producer. Send your resume to Jason or Chris at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
Very low requirements here. Very low.
Do you have a pulse? Do you fog up a mirror? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
You can also send your resumes to the IG at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Yeah. Hit me up on the G, the IG, the gram, the big G.
We might even be screening some of our wonderful patrons. We love every one of our patrons.
Holy
awesome.
smokes. This has been incredible, Chris. I just have to say for a second, thank you, patrons, for... I mean, we started that you could pay for a year, and we had a lot of people sign up for that.
Heck yeah, it's super popular.
I mean, what a commitment to say, hey, we're in for a year right off the bat. I'm like, holy hell.
We're going to continue that because it's basically you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free.
Yeah, so
we're going to continue that for a little longer.
Thank you, all you guys and gals that have signed up for that and the support. And we got some new patron content coming out. We've been working on the next
giveaway.
Should I say giveaway for the Old Elk tier?
Yep.
Got some great ideas in the works there, and I don't know. I'm excited about it. Hopefully, you guys that are top tier patrons will be excited about it too.
I'm giddy.
We got some. Chris has got some rants on the books. I got a couple more. Jokes that are coming out. So, anyways, if you want to support the podcast that way, that's a great way to do it. A simple review, 5-star review, helps us out a lot too. You don't want to do anything and you just want to listen, that's cool too. We're okay with that. So,
yep.
With that, I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of out, done here. My wine glass is empty. Getting tired. It's been a great interview with Kevin Jones. Always great talking with him and getting updates and from the racer perspective.
There it is.
KOH. And that's all I got.
Well, then on that note, we're out.